Well, hello. I am back from my little social media hiatus. Life has been so full, so beautiful, and I have just been missing you guys, and I'm going to catch you up on some exciting life news, a lot of life updates. So, I'm going to be taking you guys kind of along with me in spring on some different spring days as well as this particular day that I filmed majority of this video. So I hope you guys enjoy some homemaking, lots of kitchen stuff and little projects, baking, all of that good stuff. But we have been having such a good spring season that I just haven't been capturing too much. I just felt like I needed to have a little bit of a break. I was feeling a good amount of burnout, to say the least. I am starting my morning out with some cold brew because mama needs her coffee. And if you can tell from the title of this video, yes, we are expecting another little baby. I am so incredibly excited to share that news with you. I am currently getting over my first trimester and I am in my second now. I am feeling so much better. Life has been quite challenging the last few weeks, as well as so fun and beautiful at the same time. How can both of those things exist? I don't know, but they can. Life has been very full around here. So if you're wondering how I made this cold brew, I am taking 100 grams of coffee, put it on my scale in my mason jar, and then I'm just filling my mason jar up with cold water, and then I let it sit in the fridge for like 12 to 24 hours, and then I strain it off with my Chemex, and then you have the smoothest cold brew you can basically ask for, and it doesn't take much effort. I have been doing this for many days because I haven't been feeling like making coffee. Plus, the weather's changing. We are having a lot more warmer of days. And so I'm just keeping some cold brew in the fridge, and that just makes my mornings a lot smoother at this point. And I've been enjoying a lot of cold brew. It's cold brew season, I guess. I'm just taking some ice because you can't have iced coffee without ice, right? And then I'm taking some milk or cream, whatever you have, and then a little bit of maple syrup, and there you go. Very simple little latte, iced latte, and it's really good. Or maybe not latte, just cold brew, because latte is espresso, and this is just cold brew. It's very easy to make. Highly recommend if you are a coffee lover like me. But anyway, yes, I am so excited with a lot of the life changes that have been happening. I have missed you guys so much. It's been a while since I posted, and I thank you for all of your patience and concerns and check-ins. You guys are honestly so sweet. I've been seeing a lot of things circulating online, and I think it's a very interesting conversation about poor people or low income people should not have children. I think there are so many interesting thoughts around this topic. And also, if you guys are new here, hello, my name is Noelle. I do all kind of homemaking content and a lot of yaps on here while I do some homemaking. And today is no different, just with some exciting news. But we are still going to yap because that's like what we do here. And you guys seem to enjoy it. I am going to make a artisan loaf of sourdough, and my kids requested that I do a little Peter Rabbit edible wafer. So we are going to do Jemima Goose on the sourdough today, and the kids love that. These are edible and they're very easy to use. I will try and remember to leave the link down below from the sweet lady that I get these from. We love us some Beatrix Potter and some classic books around here, so my kids absolutely adore these. Just really fun little sourdough art that's easy to do. I'm going into our homeschool armoire and I'm just getting the homeschool stuff out because we are going to do some homeschool before we move on with the rest of our day. Very important part of the day. The kids really enjoy sitting down doing some workbooks and activities. We always look forward to this part of our morning. To be honest, I love my mornings the most out of my whole entire day. I look forward to the mornings, coffee, homeschool, sitting down, eating breakfast with my kids. It's just a good time. I love my slow mornings. So, yeah, do I think that poor people shouldn't have children? Of course, I don't think that. Now, there is different levels to, you know, money struggles and low income versus middle class, and of course, very wealthy. There are so many different levels to that. I'm just tidying up the house and then I am going to head off to the nursery and pick up some flowers for our little patio garden. Hydrangeas are in season and they're just beautiful. Anywho, I do think that, of course, having children, that's a huge responsibility. They deserve the best. Now, I don't think you need to have a lot of money to have kids, but I also think it's very important that you provide a really good. I have the baby right here with me and she's just hanging out because nap time is not really a thing today. She is not really wanting to take a nap, and that is okay. So we are hanging out while I do this voiceover for you guys. But yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying about having children and providing for them. Absolutely, you need to have a roof over their head, food in their bellies, and love is so important, as well as clean clothes, all of those things, good meals, as well as just proper housing. All of that stuff is so, so important, of course. And I don't think you need to be able to do fancy vacations and iPhones and all this fancy stuff for your kids. I don't think that that stuff, materialistic stuff, makes you a good parent. However, providing the bare necessities is so important to be a good parent, in my opinion. But yeah, I do believe that you need to be able to provide the bare necessities: food, shelter, a good home, love. All of that good stuff is more than important when having children. Because I've been seeing a lot of this conversation online about low income families, but I think there's different levels to low income and poverty, as we all know. And if you cannot provide the bare necessities for your children, then I don't think you should be having more. Definitely not. But I don't think you need to have millions of dollars or have hundreds of thousands of dollars and do all the fancy Disney trips and iPhones and all this fancy stuff for your kids. Truly, kids don't need that much. And when it comes to material things, I don't think that that is where we need to focus on when it comes to having children. I think you want to prepare for their futures, maybe save some money for colleges and make sure that you have a good, stable, loving home for them. I feel like that's what truly matters. And yeah, I'm showing my little patio garden because I love to grow stuff. I can't grow a lot of stuff, but here I am growing some tomatoes, strawberries, and just practicing for my future homestead. Okay. I am in the kitchen about to make some little brunch for my family. I'm going to make a little quiche with the things that we have on hand. I'm just going to roll out some pie crust dough that I already had in my fridge for the quiche, and I will leave my recipe down below, my flaky pie crust recipe. It's very simple to do, easy ingredients, and I'm just going to roll that out. But anywho, I think that you don't have to have a lot of money to have a good life for your children, because I've been seeing many commenting on low income families and people saying how sorry they feel for your kids if you don't have X amount of money, if you're not able to do the Disney trips or buy your children all these fancy things. I don't think that's what we should be focusing on. I think we should be pouring into loving homes, building a good foundation for our children to have good morals, good values, and honestly be kind people. I'm bringing you through a little bit of what we've been up to on our spring. I had some fresh tulips and I did a little bit of sprucing up the house, resetting. I have this cute little bunny that I thrifted a few years ago that I always put out every spring. It's kind of like a tradition, and he really brings the little spring vibe. I also made a few cakes this spring because we have 2 spring birthdays, so I love to make the kids their own homemade birthday cake. So I did one cookies and cream, and then the other one was just vanilla for our baby's first birthday, and that was really exciting. So we did like a smash cake for her, and this was for my son. And so I did a few different cakes this season, and that was really, really fun. I love to decorate and make their little cakes. I feel like it's a very special tradition that we do. Cakes made with a lot of love. Anywho, I'm showing you guys some beautiful plates that I got recently, and I think they're so gorgeous. They're actually from Amazon, and I've had my eye on them for a while, and they look very old and antique-y, but they're actually not, because I am scared of lead. So I just went ahead and got the ones from Amazon, and I've had my eye on these for a while, and they were such a good purchase. They are beautiful. But anywho, yes, I do believe that you don't have to have a lot of money to have a good life for your children. We do so many fun things with my children that don't cost us a lot of money, and I talk about this often. But my whole point for this conversation is just encouraging other low-income families that you do not have to have a bunch of money to have such a beautiful life. We are currently on one income. We are able to save a little bit of money every month, and we probably will be moving in the next year-ish or so, just to make a little bit more room for my family. Even though I love the house that we're in, it's just lovely, but I also think we need a little bit more room with another baby. But I do think we will need a bigger space here shortly, so moving is in the cards in the next year or so. But we've been having so much fun this spring, so I thought I would just recap it. We've done a lot of fun farm things and baking, as well as picnics and just hanging out in nature, going to a lot of parks. We got to visit the baby animals at our local farm. So we've been having a really fun spring so far. It has honestly been lovely, and we are enjoying that warmer weather for sure. I am now switching back over to making my pie crust and putting it in my pie dish. I am doing the little pinching method where you make the little ruffle around the edge. I love doing that to my pies. I think that is so fun. I'm going to pop that in the freezer. And let that get frozen. And now we're going to start with the quiche. I'm just cracking a whole bunch of pasture-raised eggs. I am getting some shells because that still happens to me, and I'm just going to use the inside of the eggshell to get it out really easily. So I'm going to whisk all that together and then just throw in a little bit of milk and a whole bunch of other things, sausage, onions, sun-dried tomatoes, all that really good yumminess, as well as some cheese. Sorry if I'm out of breath. Second trimester, it is starting to very much set in, and I am out of breath a lot of the time. So I'm sorry if you guys can notice that from the voiceover. Sorry, not sorry. However, yeah, so I also think, going back to the subject that we were talking about when it comes to having kids in poverty, or poor people shouldn't have kids, whatever the conversation is that I think social media has really skewed our perception of what children actually need. When seeing these conversations and stuff happening online, I just think that people are forgetting kids don't need that much. They need the simple things. Now, I think you need to be able to provide, don't get me wrong, the bare necessities: shelter, food, a good loving home, all of that good stuff, clean clothes, all of that is so important. But I think, again, with the materialism, people are thinking that you need to be able to do the fancy Disney trips and the iPhones. Just like I was saying earlier, I really do think that our perception of what children really need are skewed. It's really truly about having a loving home and really being able to nurture your kids in your own house environment. I think that is really important. My husband's messing with me here. I'm trying to blind bake my pie. I don't do this often, but when I have a really runny base, I like to do blind baking. Blind baking is when you bake the pie crust a little bit before. He's just coming down messing with me, as always. This happens all the time. He always throws me off task, but I love his little interruptions and our little back and forth. That's what being married for 10 years should look like, I feel like. Anyway, I'm trying to get him to let me finish this little project that I'm trying to do, because the kids are hungry and they want to eat a little something. before it's time to make dinner. So I thought I would just get that going. So I did my little blind bake, and now I have to go get the baby. And I did a few other things in between. So I'm just checking on that pie crust and really seeing where that's at. I also think that in the conversation of having children when you don't have a lot of money is interesting, because people also forget you can fall on hard times and you already have your kids, and then what? You have to try to pull yourself out of that financial hole somehow that you got into. So I think it's just really a nuanced situation and a case by case kind of situation. And I feel like we shouldn't be judging each other online so harshly about it. But I just thought I would, have the conversation and kind of just remind you, children don't need much but love and the bare necessities. Yeah, it's mainly just about love and providing them with a good, stable home. I think those things are really important. Do not get me wrong, but I think the materialism things do not equal you to be a good mom or parent. So I just wanted to keep that in mind, and I wanted to get on here and just talk a little bit more about the low income side of having kids, because I don't think we have a lot of representation of that online nowadays. And so that's just my little 2 cents on it. I put a little enchilada sauce on top, and I also put in some frozen spinach just for a little bit of green. And there you go. It was really good. We let that cool off, and then we cut it, and that was really delicious. And then I wanted to get started on dinner because it was going to take a little bit to bake the chicken and get everything ready. So I kind of started on dinner shortly after. I already had some chicken marinating in the fridge overnight with barbecue sauce and a whole bunch of seasonings, and just kept it pretty simple. This is one of my favorite things to do in the spring and summertime, is just marinated chicken. Let me know what your favorite marinades are down below, because your girl needs some more ideas and inspiration when it comes to chicken and just meat marination in general. I would love some ideas, so drop those recipes down below because I know you guys have some good ones. But I just like to keep it pretty simple, but I am super open to trying new marinades for meats, chicken, beef, whatever you guys have. I am very interested to know what are your favorites for the spring and summer. I am making some scalloped potatoes. All I did with this is I melted some butter, and then I had flour, so I made a roux, and then I did a little bit of cheese and milk and spices and herbs, and I pour it on top of the potatoes, let them bake for basically until they're golden brown, and they are so delicious. They're basically like a mashed potato, but sometimes even better. I don't know. They are delicious. Highly recommend to try scalloped potatoes if you have not already. And then we have our barbecue chicken. That was really nice and tender. And then we had a little bit of broccoli that I had going as well. And now it's after dinner, and I thought I would make something a little bit different and fun. I just took my cookie dough recipe that I love to make, as well as my brownie batter, my chewy brownie batter recipe, and we are just going to make a brookie. If you've never heard of a brookie before, it's basically just a cookie and brownie together. And this was so good. This was my first time actually making this. I've made both of these recipes separate several times, but I wanted to combine the two because I heard brookies are really good. So I had to give that a go and try my hand at this, and it worked out really well. They were absolutely delicious and truly lasted just a few days in my house. They were so good. So I just kind of alternated the brownie and the cookie, and then I put a little bit more cookie dough on top, and then baked it at 350, basically just until it was all cooked in the middle. And then if you don't want your brownie, or if you don't want your cookie to get too brown, I put like a parchment paper over it to finish letting it cook, because you want everything to cook. You don't want anything to be raw. You want everything to cook. You don't want anything to be raw. So I put a parchment paper on top, and then I ended up cutting it once it was cool. And with some milk, you guys, that is so delicious, especially if you drink raw milk. That is my favorite, but store-bought milk will do too. It is so delicious with just a side of milk and a really good late night snack, and honestly just a great dessert. So I will leave both of those recipes down below if you want to make this delicious treat. But yeah, so that's where I've been, you guys. I have been doing a lot of things, but also not a lot of things, just kind of hanging out, just trying to get through that first trimester is always a little bit challenging, and just kind of pulling back and seeing what's necessary and just going back to the basics a little bit, but also really enjoying the season of spring and really embracing the warmer weather has been so much fun. And I've been enjoying this season so much, but I'm so happy to be back. Expect a new video every week. I want to thank you guys for all of your grace and kindness when it comes to not being as consistent as I would like to or as I normally am, but we will be getting back on it. I promise. There will be new videos. Just let me know what you want to see. I already have a few filmed for you that I will be working on editing really soon. But yeah, let me know, what have you been doing this spring? What have been your favorite things? What have been your favorite recipes? I want to know all of that stuff down below. I really enjoy talking to you guys in the comments, and I just love talking to you, and I thank you so much for all of your support. And also, what do you think about low income families having children? Like, that's a whole crazy conversation that I can't even believe is happening online right now, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about it and just give the reminder that you don't need a lot of money, in my opinion, to have a great childhood for your children. It's all about the love, the care, and the memories that you make with them. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye.